Today we sit down with Sol Yamini, CEO and owner of the iconic Pink Dot, the first of its kind delivery grocery service that's been mentioned in songs, seen in movies, loved by celebs like Kobe Bryant, Jimmy Fallon, and Fergie, just to name a few. He's also partner of Urbn Leaf, the first and only cannabis dispensary on the Sunset Strip. You definitely want to tune in to hear his story about dropping out of law school to ultimately take over the famed Pink Dot. And of course, so much more. Cool. Well, Sol, welcome. Really excited to have you here for this particular conversation. You've got a couple of incredible businesses right here in West Hollywood. Definitely one that's an institution, Pink Dot. You also have a newer business as well, too, Urbn Leaf. We'll definitely do a deep dive into both of these businesses. But before we do that, I'd love to talk a bit about your background to kind of bring viewers up to speed. So I believe you were born in Iran, right? And then you were raised in Beverly Hills, which is, for those that might not know, neighbors of West Hollywood. So would love to hear a bit of your backstory and then kind of tie in how you've always viewed West Hollywood as you were sort of growing up.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on your podcast. This is great. I love visiting West Hollywood. And thank you.
Of course.
Like you said, I'm the CEO and owner of Pink Dot. And I was born in Iran, raised in Beverly Hills, and West Hollywood has always been my
neighbor
and my, where I played.
I was about to say your playground, right?
I could probably say it's where everybody plays, right?
That's fair.
It's the cooler part of LA, is how I like to call it. And now West Hollywood is my, stomping grounds, and it's where I have my businesses. I have 3 businesses here. And I'm very proud of West Hollywood. I love it. And I think it's one of the best cities in the entire country. And I want to see West Hollywood just boom and grow. And, I could tell you about my businesses and whatever you'd like to know.
We have, I've known you for a while, Sol. You've been very involved in the city. And obviously, as the owner of Pink Dot, you're really involved in the Sunset Strip. And I know that you're on the board of the Sunset Strip Business Improvement District, which is really important to the city because we travel around the world. Yeah. And what everybody has heard of is, not only West Hollywood, but they've heard of the Sunset Strip. And Pink Dot is such an institution that everybody knows the name. So I think it's going to be really fascinating to kind of hear the history of it and your background of how you got into that.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
No, so let's start talking about Pink Dot for a minute. So it opened in 1987.
Yes.
Before your time, we will clarify that.
I'm not that old. I didn't start it. I'm not that old.
Just making sure everybody knows. And it's interesting because I really feel like it was first of its kind. And it's certainly
before there was Postmates, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and all these other apps.
Yeah.
If you guys think about it, the only thing you could really order back in the day was pizza and Chinese food.
I was just about to say, exactly.
Right? You'd either order Chinese food or pizza. There was nothing else.
Yeah.
And then Pink Dot came along and they started doing groceries and, liquor and cigarettes and, snacks. And then we got into food. We had a full kitchen and we started doing,
amazing.
All different types of foods.
Was it always in that location that it is now?
So yeah, it was always in that location. Yeah. And it expanded to about 45 locations at one point. And I'll get into all that.
Yeah.
And it was the first of its kind. It was the first one to do grocery delivery.
Oh, okay, really?
In the U.S.
Yeah, in the U.S.
In the U.S.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I don't know outside the U.S. I can't. But I'm pretty sure it could. Yeah.
Let's just say yeah.
Okay, we'll claim it. West Hollywood was the first
first in the world
to do grocery delivery.
I'm the marketing guy. You can tell.
Checks out.
Yes. And the brand is very strong. It's been in so many movies and commercials and rap videos and music videos. And, now it's become a spot where like new brands that come out, they want to be in Pink Dot. Like they ask like, hey, like Travis Scott, for example.
Yeah.
He came out with a drink called Cacti. He's a big star. He's married to Kylie Jenner.
Yeah, heard of them.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or maybe not married, or they have a baby together.
Whatever the situation is,
And
no judgment.
He reached out to his manager and said, "Look, before we go live and we start selling this product to the world, right? First place I want to be is Pink Dot. It's just nostalgic for me. I just got to be there. Like I grew up with this brand, and the manager calls our guys, and it was actually through Anheuser-Busch that did the whole manufacturing and everything. And we did a huge thing for them where we launched his drink at Pink Dot, and it was thousands of people came. He's got such a huge following. And he came to the store and did a 45-minute, 1 hour, his whole thing, and took pictures, and that's just one example of how Pink Dot is so involved in pop culture and how it's so relevant even almost 40 years later, right? It's still one of the spots where people like Travis Scott want it to be the first place that they launched their product or whatever.
Totally.
And Adam Levine had a tequila drink, and then Kendall Jenner launched her 818 tequila. So it's been such an iconic spot even till this day. And obviously the Sunset Strip
of course
there's nothing, in my opinion, more iconic. He knows how much I love the Sunset Strip. I'm all about the Sunset Strip. And the Sunset Strip is just that's LA to me.
Oh, 100%.
I was telling Sarah that she has to follow the Pink Dot Instagram, because that's where I've seen all of those stories of you with these celebrities launching their brands, and it really has become a thing. It's really cool.
It's really cool, and it's very humbling that all these guys are and they come in there and they all have a story. They're like, oh my God, Pink Dot, you don't understand how many I could show you on my Instagram. The first thing Adam Levine does goes, do you understand how many times at 3 a.m. Pink Dot has saved my life?
Exactly.
Like cigarettes, it's
you name it.
Yeah, you name it. Condoms. People.
Yeah.
It's
of course.
Everyone's got a story, and it's whenever I tell people I own Pink Dot or I bring up Pink Dot, it brings up a good memory.
I'm sure.
For them. Because when you're ordering Pink Dot, you're in a good mood. You're either ordering alcohol, or you ran out of alcohol, or you're at a party and you need more alcohol.
You're continuing the party.
I'm sure you guys have all heard the Jimmy Fallon, Kobe Bryant story, right?
Wait, no. You
haven't heard the story? You've heard the story.
I don't think so. Well,
we should actually.
Try it.
If you have internet, you should Google it later. But or I can show you now. But Kobe Bryant is on Jimmy Fallon. And Jimmy Fallon's like, Kobe, do you remember when we first met? He goes, yeah, we went to Pink Dot. And he goes, do you remember that? He goes, yeah. And so they're at a party in the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah.
And Kobe just got on the Lakers. This is like everybody knows this story.
Right.
And I'm surprised you guys haven't heard it. So he's like, whoever's party it was some other celebrity's party, and Kobe was new to Los Angeles, and Jimmy Fallon was just starting out, but they knew each other. He was a comedian, and he just got on the Lakers. He was young, whatever, however old he was, and they're at a party, and someone goes, "We're out of beer," and then Jimmy Fallon looks at Kobe, goes, "Should we go make a beer run?" And they drive down Sunset Strip, and the whole thing is on.
Oh my God.
And then they're driving down Sunset Strip, and that's when Pink Dot wasn't open to the public. It was only delivery.
Oh, okay.
So they walk up and they knock on the door, and they're like, "We need beer." And the cashier's like, "We don't sell anything here. We just
deliver.
We just deliver." And he goes, "I know, but there's nowhere else to go. We need beer. They told us to come to Pink Dot."
Can you deliver it here?
And he goes, "Sorry, I can't." So then Kobe Bryant takes out his ID and puts it on the window and goes, "I'm a Laker." And then the cashier goes, "Oh, okay, come in." And they went inside and bought whatever they wanted.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and they walk out and in the video they're showing each other walk out, and then it's a really stories like that.
Yeah.
And it's been on Entourage, Sex and the City.
Totally.
It's got so much history, and it's obviously the location speaks for itself.
Yeah, the location definitely. So wait, I want to actually ask a question about the branding, because again, for those that might not know, it certainly is iconic as far as it hasn't really changed much from the outside, but then also, can we talk about the VW delivery vehicles? I don't know how much you use them anymore.
Well, they became a little hard to maintain.
That's fair.
It was like every other delivery they would break down. So it was like, we still have one parked in front, right? And
People
take pictures of it. Yeah. They love it. But back in the day, we used to have a fleet of 300 of them.
No, 300?
Yeah. And then once in the Pride Parade, they asked us, did you know about this?
No.
To take 4 of the Pinky cars and just drive it down the Pride Parade.
Oh my!
And we had a Pinky mascot. He was sitting in one of them, and he was waving to everybody. It was really funny. Yeah.
That's so cool. Well, I mean, again, that goes to show you that strong branding, I
Yeah.
mean, can do so much. And something as simple, and this was, again, we're talking about, I mean, I guess when they were using these vehicles more so, I mean, it was shortly probably after they began, right?
Yeah.
And so that really helped establish the brand, I'm sure.
I
Pretty
mean,
much
look, those
right now.
cars weren't ideal for delivery, but
No.
but it made such a splash. Like people
Yes.
loved like even kids would tell their moms, can you bring those cars to our birthday parties? We just want to have one car there. So
Yeah.
so it was a kid's birthday party. The mom paid us like some crazy
However
amount
much, yeah.
to bring 2 of the cars and just park them there,
Oh my gosh.
like in front of the house. And I mean, they were cute little. They had like a little
Propeller.
on the top. They had eyes.
Yeah.
So everybody knows Pink Dot as those those cars that were driving around.
Completely. So you shared a couple of stories of different celebrities, which I love. Do you have a favorite memory from yourself from when you were growing up that you can share?
Of
Pink
me
Dot?
ordering Pink
Yeah,
Dot?
no, or anything from like your childhood before
So-
you became.
I'll tell you how I even got into Pink Dot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a
please
good
do.
story.
Please
so
do.
I'm in law school,
Okay.
and me and my buddies would either go to my house or we'd go to. Back then, I was living with my parents, and or we'd go to like one of my buddies' house, and we'd always order Pink Dot.
Yeah.
Right, because we'd love the salad, we love the turkey gobbler.
Yeah.
And we'd always order. And like some of my friends would smoke, they'd order cigarettes, some of them would have a beer. But we're in law school, so we're staying up late and we're
Yeah.
studying. And one day we called the Pink Dot that was in our neighborhood, which is the Century City one, and they routed us to a different Pink Dot. And they're like, sorry, the Pink Dot in your location, in your area is now closed. So we don't service that area anymore. And we're like,
Wait, what?
what the?
Yeah.
How's that possible? So I was so and at the time one of my buddies had a law firm, and I would go there and like help him out and like learn the business. So I went there, I'm like, can you believe Pink Dot closed in our area? And he goes, how's that possible? I'm like, it's not there anymore. Like we can't get Pink Dot. He's like, yeah, but I mean, can't you order from somewhere else?
Yeah.
Like there is nowhere else, right?
Yeah.
And it was like there was literally nowhere else to order from, right? It was like it's not like today where every restaurant does delivery. Like
Yeah.
there was Chinese food, pizza, and
And
Pink
Pink Dot.
So he saw how concerned I was, and he's like, why don't you find out what happened? So I literally called, and Pink Dot was owned by Stater Brothers. Stater Brothers bought it so that it could be their delivery wing of all their supermarkets, and it never really, they were never ever able to integrate it, right?
Okay,
So
yeah.
it was like one of those assets that they were kind of like sitting on, and some of their locations, the leases were coming up, and they weren't renewing them, and they were kind of closing it down. So it was like one of those things where they bought the asset for really cheap, and then they were like not really taking care of it. So it was like dying, and I was like 23. So I get a hold of the CEO of Stater Brothers, and I'm like, what's going on? How is this happening? Like Pink Dot's such a great business. How are you guys letting it go? And he's like, look, it's just one of those things that it's not our business model. It's not our core business. We're a supermarket. We're not really focused on delivery. And
Yeah,
it's
they were
like,
focused elsewhere.
it's just like there's too many moving parts. I'm like, can I come meet with you? And he's like, why? I'm like, I just want to come meet with you.
Oh,
And
I love this.
And he's like, sure, come.
Yeah.
So I went down. His office was in Laguna Niguel. I was like, this, I'm 23. I'm like, what am I
you're
doing?
like, oh
I
my
put on a
gosh.
suit, I put on a tie, and shaved. I was like,
With the
a young
intention
kid.
to
With the intention just to talk to him. I didn't know.
figure
I
out-
didn't know what was gonna happen. I was
you
like,
just thought something.
maybe I'll work for the company. I don't know. Maybe I'll help them like grow it.
But
and-
you felt that passionately about
yeah,
it.
I
that
was
you're
like, I was
we're
like,
having a
no,
conversation.
I was like, this is like, it's an LA. I don't want it to go away.
Yeah.
So I went there, and the guy looks at me. He goes, "Wow, you really care, huh?" Having a meeting with him, he's like, the CEO of Stater Brothers. His name
Yeah.
was Dan, and he's, obviously a big shot. And
Yeah.
he's like sitting there talking to him. He's like, "What do you think we should do?" And I'm like, "Wow, that's an interesting question. I don't know, but I think we should save the company." He goes, "Do you want to try to do it?" I go, "I would love to try to do it."
Wow.
Okay, let's see what you got. Swear. And
Oh
then
my
I went,
gosh.
And I started working for the company. I was running the stores. I was the district manager, and I started running all the locations.
Yeah.
For Stater Brothers. For Stater Brothers, for the Pink Dot division.
Pink Dot division.
Correct.
It's amazing. I had no idea.
And then I ended up working out a deal with him. He ended up falling in love with me. He's like, wow,
Yeah.
this guy is great. So whatever he paid for it, I ended up paying him back and then some.
which he loved you even more for.
With the money that I was making from Pink Dot.
Yeah.
I increased the sales. I made the company, back to what it was and then some. And he, I still keep in contact with him. He literally changed my life. I don't know where I would be today if I didn't take that meeting.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That is, and I love that you're sharing this because that's kind
A
of
lot of people don't know this.
No, a lot of people don't know this, but also that's sort of the point of, or what we've sort of discovered with this series is that how West Hollywood, just due to the nature of it, has become such this beautiful, like, fertile ground for entrepreneurs and people to develop or expand on businesses, and everybody always has an interesting story, and this one that's an amazing story.
Well, let me tell you why the Sunset Strip is so special to me.
Perfect.
So we growing up, my family lived on Mount Olympus, which is off of Laurel Canyon, and like a lot of my parents' friends and family lived in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
So we would take the Sunset Strip,
of course,
back and forth almost every day.
Yeah.
That was like, so I kind of like, when I was a kid, I was like peeking out the window and I'd see like all these like nightclubs, and, the Roxy and all like Carney's and like what's Coconut Teaser back there, and which is now 14.
Yes.
And like all these places, I see like
Whiskey,
in all these people walking on the street. I was so fascinated by like, I couldn't wait like until I was old enough to actually like experience what's happening. And there's so much action and energy, and it was so live. The House of Blues and all this stuff growing up, and I'd see that, and I had such a like passion for the Sunset Strip, how amazing it was, and now I see it all shifting, and we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But to me, I mean, people come to LA and they're like Hollywood Boulevard and the Grove and all these other places. I'm like, Sunset Strip is really LA.
And iconic.
And iconic. Like if there's certain TV shows that they show clips of the Sunset Strip,
100%.
different venues. Is it the Sunset Strip that we knew 20, 30 years ago? No,
it evolves.
It evolved, right? But everybody grows up.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
I think it's going in the right direction. I like where it's going. I think it's more chic and more upscale. It's becoming less about the rock and roll vibe.
Yeah.
More about like the upscale restaurants and
A lot of hotels too.
A lot of hotels, which I think is great.
Amazing. Yeah.
I love the
Perfect
rooftop
location.
bars. I love like Madeo just opened up on
Yes.
for
It was
them
very good.
for Madeo to go to the one hotel was a big move.
Yeah.
Right? That
It
just
was a
shows
huge move.
huge move. So like, I mean, you were concierge. You know how important Madeo is to the city.
Oh yes.
Huge.
Definitely.
Everybody loves Madeo. That's like the spot.
Yeah.
So Fred Siegel moved from Melrose to Sunset.
Exactly.
Supreme moved from Fairfax to Sunset. These are all iconic brands that could go anywhere.
Yes.
Right? They have the money to go to Rodeo. They have the money to go to Melrose. They have the money to go. Why are they on the Sunset Strip? Because it's the Sunset Strip.
It's where everything's happening.
And this might be top secret, but I'm going to tell you guys. So Kim Kardashian has a brand called Skims. Right?
Might be familiar with it.
And she's opening up her flagship right next to Mel's Diner, her first ever Skims store on the Sunset Strip.
That's awesome.
So everything is West Hollywood, West Hollywood Sunset Strip. And Jeff and I know this, but a lot of people don't know that Sunset Strip is only a certain distance. It's not it's not from the
entire-
beach all the way to downtown.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
It's from Doheny to almost Crescent Heights.
Yes,
a little before Crescent Heights.
Yeah, but basically, yeah.
Yes.
So that's the Sunset Strip.
Yeah.
And that's West Hollywood.
Completely.
Once you pass that way, it's Beverly Hills, and that way is LA.
Yeah. But when you talk about, obviously it's evolving. I think when the Pendry opened, we talked about there being a renaissance on Sunset Strip because the Pendry is where the House of Blues used to be. You talked about the House of Blues. So, when I go around the world and talk to people about why they should visit West Hollywood, which is the heart of LA, I talk obviously a lot about the Sunset Strip. And I think there's a really interesting mix on the Strip of these really luxurious hotels and vibey hotels with great rooftop bars and cool clubs, but also the Roxy and the Whiskey and the Viper Room is still there. Like there's this really interesting mix, I think, of authentic, old school, what it used to be, get down and dirty and listen to some rock music, some live music, and go over and have a martini at the Tower Bar. Like it's like no place in the world that you have that interesting mix of those kinds of things. And I think that's why the Sunset Strip is so special. And, for your business, you sit at the base of the Hollywood Hills, which just, that fact in itself is probably why Pink Dot is so successful today, right? Because people needed to have deliveries up in the hills.
I mean, we're right there at the bottom, like you said, and right behind us is where all the big houses are.
Yeah.
Right? And all the party is happening right there.
Yeah.
Right? It's like right behind us.
Perfect location.
So I mean, my drivers know how to zip through those hills, like
Yeah.
the back ways, the front ways,
Exactly.
The
We
secret ways.
always talk about, Hollywood is kind of where, a tourist needs to come. You need to see the Walk of Fame, and
Yeah.
you need to see the Hollywood sign if you've come here for the first time.
Sure.
But West Hollywood is where Hollywood lives.
Yes.
Like this is really where this is a neighborhood. This is a lifestyle
Yeah.
here. This is not a tourist trap. This is a
Yeah.
place where, people have their whole lives.
Well, people say I'm going to Los Angeles, right? Mm-hmm. They're not really going to Los Angeles.
No.
They're coming to Santa Monica,
Yeah.
Beverly Hills, West Hollywood, right?
100%.
Los Angeles just happens to be,
The bigger name.
the bigger name.
Yeah.
But it's
exactly.
like, I'm going to LA. But you're really coming to like, places.
This is where people are staying.
Yeah, this is where people are staying.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is where you want to be, right?
100%.
If you know, you know. This is where you want to be.
And
Right.
now,
You know,
now,
you know.
now
It's a good
everybody
slogan.
should know
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
from listening
Most
to this.
most people know.
No, of course,
Most
of
people
course.
know.
So I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about actually one of your other businesses that you're a partner in, Urbn Leaf. So for those that don't know, it's a dispensary. But can you share a bit more about it as far as, why did you end up becoming a partner in it? What makes it unique?
So I was never into cannabis. I
Mm-hmm.
was never, I would smoke here and there, but I was never interested in the business.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew there was a lot of money in it. I knew it was very lucrative, but I never had any plans of getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then West Hollywood was giving out these lounge licenses, and everybody was trying to get these lounge licenses.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave away 8 dispensary licenses. And when they gave it away and they were talking about it, they said they wanted to give it to local businesses and businesses that understood West Hollywood, and businesses that understood the regulated industry, and businesses that understood how to make how to deliver regulated products.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, sounds like what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna apply for these licenses. So I put together a beautiful package, and we got all 4 licenses.
Oh,
We got
wow.
The consumption lounge, the delivery, the medical, and the adult use, and we were one of the only groups that got all 4 licenses.
That's amazing.
And then I went and partnered with a big cannabis company because I'm not the cannabis guy.
Yeah.
And everybody opened up their locations on Santa Monica, and obviously, where did I open up?
The Sunset Strip.
Strip. Only dispensary on the Sunset Strip.
So actually, you kind of mentioned something that reminded me of all the years when I was working at the concierge desk. A big question would always be of people that were traveling here. They would ask, before they would go to a dispensary or someplace, they're like, "Oh, can I just go? Do I need a card? Do I need this?" So, I mean, can you just share a bit, like for somebody that might be coming here, what do they need to know if they want to visit?
You just need an ID
Easy.
and money.
Well,
Somebody to pay for it with. Yeah.
that's always helpful.
ID, credit card, no, but yeah, it's become so simple. You just need an ID to show that you're 21 and over.
Yeah.
To walk in, obviously valid ID, and that's it. You can buy whatever you want.
Yeah, and I do love that you mentioned as far as how it came about, because obviously the partnership with Pink Dot as well as Urbn Leaf, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it kind of was there pretty much from the birth of it.
Yeah.
And then probably has just been able to continue and almost even probably help things even, during the pandemic when everything was so up in the air.
Well, during the pandemic, the 2 things that were making money, only 2 things were alcohol and cannabis.
Exactly.
Right,
so you chose wisely, my friend.
That wasn't on purpose. I didn't know that was going to happen, but that just
No, you
happened to happen.
didn't. You were definitely lucky.
Does Urbn Leaf deliver?
Yes.
Yeah. And you mentioned earlier, right now it's just retail, but you're opening a lounge
So yes.
at some point.
Yeah,
This,
so,
this year or something.
The lounge part of it, we kind of put on pause because of COVID, and we didn't know
Fair.
which direction we were going to go. But now, in the same shopping center, we're knocking down the middle building, and we're building a beautiful lounge where
Cool.
Places like I'd want to go.
Yeah.
I'd want my wife to go. Our
Yeah.
friends would go. So it's going to be super high end, very nice. Not about nothing sleazy about it. It's going
Yeah.
to be very good food, good experience. Have a comedy show one night.
Oh, fun.
And then now we're in talks of opening up a little arcade on the side so you can smoke, go play
Okay.
like your favorite Pac-Man game or
This is great.
games that we grew up with.
Yeah.
Just make it a fun experience. Like if you're having dinner at Madeo, where should I go? Hey, let's go check out this spot across the street.
Yeah.
Play some arcade, smoke a little bit, have a drink.
Have fun.
Yeah.
I think from a visitor's perspective, that's what makes a lot of sense because, as you mentioned, it's still a federal issue.
Yes.
So when you come to West Hollywood, come stay in one of these great hotels, come and enjoy a night at Urban Leaf,
Yeah.
and have that experience while you're here, and then not have to worry about getting on the plane with anything or having to deal with any of those federal issues.
Well,
It's
Jeff,
just-
it's interesting you say that because West Hollywood, me and all the other groups that won licenses, we all went super high end, and we're like, this is West Hollywood. We're gonna do this really nice. We're gonna I don't know if you've been to Artistry or some of the other places, but all the other groups, the Woods, which is owned by Woody Harrelson and Bill Maher, they all of these places are very nice, very high end. Everybody went super luxurious, and we want to set the tone that these pot shops don't need to be places where you have to kind of watch yourself when you walk in.
Yeah.
It's like some guy, true story, walked by Urban Leaf and he goes, "Is this a Gucci store?"
I love that.
And that made me feel really good. We're like,
Yeah,
okay,
you
good.
should feel great about that.
This is like let's change people's persona about these things. Let's make it a good experience. Let's make it fun. Let's make it nice. You feel good when you're in there. You don't want to okay, let me get out of here. I don't want anyone to see me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
and it fits the vibe of West Hollywood.
Yeah, and
It's
West-
really,
I
where
feel
the
like
direction is going. right?
everything in West Hollywood is elevated. Everything in West
course.
Hollywood is better, right? If you're in West Hollywood and you're opening up a business, you kind of have to up your game a little bit.
Of course,
you
yeah.
know? When you got restaurants like Catch and Craig's and all these hot spots that are known across the world, right? Other restaurants need to really step it up.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, definitely.
And West Hollywood is that city. Like if you're going to be in West Hollywood, you need to really buckle it up and do it right.
Exactly.
It's the best city in the world.
How would you describe your ideal night out on the Sunset Strip? So where would you go? Where would you eat? Where would you stay? Just for somebody that hasn't been here before, walk us through that.
Well, I'd start at Pink Dot and get a bottle of water or something.
Well
Because I
played.
know I'm going to have a long night.
Start to hydrate.
Right.
Well
Very good.
played.
And I'd park in the Pink Dot parking lot because it's very easy access to park there. It's not that expensive. No, I'm just kidding. So I would. So one of my favorite restaurants is the Tower Bar.
Amazing.
Love the Tower Bar.
Great spot.
Madeo. I love Madeo. So ideal night would be either one of those two restaurants, right?
Maybe drinks at one, dinner at the
Drinks
other.
at one, dinner at the other. I'm
I like
also a
this.
member of the Brightly at the Pendry, so I love going there. The rooftop's really nice, and then they have a restaurant called Merwa, right? And I would have dinner at one of those places, then I would walk to maybe Tess and have a drink. They have a nice bar there, or maybe go to walk to the Addition or to the One Hotel. Go downstairs. They have a very nice bar
Yeah.
scene, or maybe even go to the Harriet's on top.
Oh, yes.
right
Rooftop.
of the
yeah,
One
of the One-
Hotel.
One Hotel, yeah.
There's so much to do that maybe a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
Right, but because I'm so involved,
Totally.
a lot of my friends are like, Saul,
What
let's
should we
go out.
do?"
Where should we go? And I'll give them a list of all these things, and they're like, but that everything on Sunset. I'm like, trust me,
Yeah.
Trust me.
just go try. And then they'll call me the next day. They'll be like, wow, Harriet's was a lot of fun. That restaurant was amazing. Great suggestions. Like I didn't know. Like a lot of people don't know that all this stuff is happening on Sunset.
Yeah.
Right. So the more we put it out there and people come and see and they actually try it, they're like, wow, Sunset's back.
Yeah.
I hear that a lot. Like Sunset, I've been
I
hearing
sent
that,
a-
Jeff. I've been hearing that a lot. Sunset's back.
Yeah, yeah. I sent a group of my kid's friends and all of his influencer friends to the Den for dinner. They hadn't been there. The Den has totally remodeled, and he's upgraded his menu, and it's
Yeah,
it's a
great
really cool
food, great
spot.
restaurant, yeah.
So they went to
Very
the
fun.
Den for dinner, and then they went to the Comedy Store for
Amazing.
night. And they all called me afterwards, and they were like, "This is the most amazing night ever."
Amazing.
You know,
So last
It was-
night, last night.
Okay.
I went and saw Bill Burr.
So great.
My buddies got me a ticket. Went and saw Bill Burr at the Roxy.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
I didn't even know the
cool.
Roxy did that. And then we walked to the Birch Streets
Yes.
and we had drinks there.
Yeah.
And my friends texted me this morning like, "What a fun night!"
Right.
They've never been to the Birch Streets, and they never
Yeah.
knew that like I never even knew that the Roxy had comedy like was set up for
Yeah,
that.
they could do that.
But it was so like you're in the Roxy. You know what I mean? It's like
Cool.
there's so much history there. You're like the bands that have played there, the
completely.
different groups that were founded there. It's like
Yeah.
right, and even at the Comedy Store, you're like, you know, it's owned by Mitzi Shore, Pauly Shore's
yeah.
mom, and you're like the amount of comedians that have been founded here
Mm-hmm.
and like the history, like there's so much history on the Sunset Strip.
Exactly.
Right?
And all of these different businesses, which is cool. It's not just one spot. So.
Yeah, so like all these different businesses, they have all like Chateau,
Yeah.
you know, even Carney's, Roxy, Rainbow, like all these different businesses on Viper Room,
Yep.
right?
Exactly.
If those walls could talk,
If I always think that, by
You
the
know?
way, anytime I go out to any of these places, I'm like, oh my gosh, what these walls have seen.
they've seen,
Which
Yeah.
is good. Maybe
like
it's good
we've delivered.
that they can't talk.
We've delivered to so many of these bands that are staying at the Grafton.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, every team, I don't know if you guys knew this, but every team that the Lakers and Clippers would play would stay at the Grafton
Mm-hmm.
and they'd buy out the whole hotel. So the team, and they'd order a Pink Dot like my drivers would be in and out of there.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna tell you what they're ordering.
That's
But
fine.
my
that's
drivers were
fine.
in and out of there, in and out of this. Like it was the place to be. And then the Mondrian, the Sky Bar,
Of course.
right? Like the Sunset Strip
It's
is and was
Still.
the best.
still, yes, and
You
still,
know?
exactly.
When the House of Blues had a concert,
Mm-hmm.
the entire street was vibrating.
Oh, yeah.
Like I would
remember that.
feel a different energy. I'm like, there's a concert tonight. Something's happening.
Exactly.
Like and then there'd be a line outside of Pink Dot. People buying booze, hiding it, trying to get into the House of Blues because they don't want to pay the.
See what Kobe Bryant started?
Yeah,
People being
exactly.
able to walk up to the door and buy stuff right away, right?
I swear, when there was a concert at the House of Blues,
Yeah.
no matter who it was, there was a line outside of Pink Dot.
Funny.
I believe it. I believe it. Well, this has been such a
Yeah.
great conversation. We could
Yeah.
continue like all
I'll go on-
day.
I'll go on forever.
All
We'll have to
day.
do part two.
No, we will
another
definitely
time.
have to do part two. But you know, as we're wrapping up, I mean, any sort of final tips or insights for anybody that's, you know, looking to stay in West Hollywood, or just any kind of final thoughts on WeHo?
I mean, yeah. I mean, in my opinion, I think WeHo's amazing. I love it. I think it's definitely. I mean, COVID obviously slowed everything down across the world, but
Sure.
you know, WeHo's one of those cities that bounce back quick, and you know, it's safe, it's beautiful, it's clean, it's got beautiful hotels, great restaurants. You know, Sunset Strip, Santa Monica, Melrose, any part of WeHo. We have, you know, just something to do for everybody.
Yeah.
Right. Even on the Sunset Strip, you want to go to watch a rock band. There's a place for you. You want to go to a high upscale restaurant. You want to go to a rooftop, have a drink. You want to go watch comedy. You want to go grab a drink at Pink Dot. You know,
Yeah.
there's something
You know.
for everybody. Right.
Love that. Yeah. Definitely.
And you know, it's an honor to be on this show, and I've known Jeff for a long time. We sit on the board of the Sunset Strip together.
Yeah. And I just want to thank you for, I mean, that was really brave to take over what you did with Pink Dot. And, you know, now I'm sure historically looking back on it, you're like, it just kind of happened. But you realize the cultural relevance of a place and how much it matters, probably more today than ever before.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're sitting here in 2023 and talking about Pink Dot.
Right.
I mean,
And
think about it. Pink Dot could have been one of those brands like Blockbuster,
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Tower Records.
Yeah.
Right. Like, oh, I remember that. It was so cool. I don't want that to happen.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't need to.
It didn't need to happen. And like, you know, you still think back at like Blockbuster, and it was great to
Yeah.
go. You know, I remember going there with my dad and getting a video and like
Yeah.
buying some red vines. It was such an experience, but like it just went away.
Yeah.
You know, and now you got to explain to your kids. But like Pink Dot, I want to continue Pink Dot, so like my kids'
generation.
kids
Yeah.
will have a chance to order Pink Dot.
Well,
you know,
I mean, I think it's kind of the perfect business model where we're just continuing to go in that direction. So you definitely don't have anything to worry about. Now it's just how to continue having fun with the brand, which is the great stuff,
Yeah.
the great
Yeah.
thing to play with.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
very cool. Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you guys for having me.
joining
This
us
has
today.
been great.
Great
Thank you.
conversation.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Great. Thank you.